Of the first traffic light in Europe, this green towel with the clocks on it, to the right between the bus. There was so much traffic here, and around here hotels, restaurants, 2 large railway stations, and here was the beginning of the city to pass at checkpoint Charlie. If they were allowed at all to pass, then they had to use one of the other checkpoints. Well, before we come there, we have to the left, that's the Parliament building for Berlin, for the city of Berlin. It's the old Prussian Parliament building, and it's situated in East Berlin. Actually, if you're sitting to the left in the bus, you're sitting in the eastern part. If you're sitting in the right, you're sitting in the western part. To the right. Called the terror of the topography of terror, because of course from this area here the Holocaust and a lot of the horrible things done from the Nazis and during the Second World War, it was planned from this area here. And there will also be in some, not all of them, but in some of the souvenir shops here they also take $1, I think.
Das war langsam ein Witz. Jetzt wollen sie die Touristen vergrauen, die Touristen wollen das nicht. Abwechseln.
Well, we also have a lot of dogs in Berlin. We have around 100,000 dogs, and the dogs must know to which trees they are allowed to go to. Hotel Radisson here is very new built, and it has a very special attraction in this hotel. There is a huge aquarium in it. And look at Frederick the Great. It wasn't him building the Brandenburg Gate, it was the king after him making it. And on top of the Brandenburg Gate there is a quite large sculpture with 4 horses and a Victory Goddess on it. And it's called the Quadriga because it's 4 horses, quadro quadriga. And this quadriga, they took it away a few times from the Brandenburg Gate. The first time was as Napoleon were occupying Berlin. He thought that's a very nice souvenir, so he brought it to Paris a few years. And then it came back here to Berlin, and the square in front of the Brandenburg Gate is called the Paris Square after that. The second time was the end of the Second World War. The last weeks, the fightings, the battles was all around the Brandenburg Gate, because the street in front of Brandenburg Gate to the left, that's the Wilhelm Street, that's where all the ministries were situated, also the ministry where Hitler go, because it was so close to the border. And if you go through the Brandenburg Gate, on the other side of it, you will find in the street, in the asphalt, cobblestones, double cobblestones, and it marks where the wall was situated. So, as there were New Year here, there were, after the wall came down, a lot of people came here, and about 2 million people, and have some party here, and then after that they had to restaurate the Brandenburg Gate. But now it's there, and all the buildings you see around the square here, even the Hotel Adlon, it's all new buildings. 15 years ago the Brandenburg Gate was standing here alone, because it was gone during the Second World War. Someone asked for shopping. We have no shopping here really, but I know if you like souvenirs, there is also just on the opposite of the street, I'm quite sure they take dollars over there, and we also have some souvenir shops right ahead here. And I would say, well, 30 minutes, then you have enough.
Brandenburg Gate. We can walk up there. Brandenburg Gate, separating East from West Berlin.
It was possible also to make other kind of laws, and that was the beginning of the of Hitler taking all the power in Germany. So to the right you see the House of Parliament. It's now rebuilt, and you see it stands in West Berlin. The wall was here just behind it, and we have to the left here the Brandenburg Gate. And after the reunification, then they decided to rebuild the house, and the British architect Sir Norman Foster was making the new construction with a glass dome on top of it. You will see there is mostly queuing a line up in front of it, because many people like to visit the cupola and go on the roof of the building. So you see there's a huge lining up there. Well, you will have the possibility to we have a photo stop here also at the Reichstag, and we do it here just a few meters away from it, because then you have better possibility to make your photos. When you're too close, you will not have any photos. And of course we will after that also attend.
That's good. That we're
We're in Berlin.
staying in front of the Reichstag.
It's different. It's not,
Mom's calling
there's
her
not
mom.
a lot of buildings organic rebuilt, so there's not a real lot of old stuff. But yeah, but it's neat. It's neat. It's like 72, 75 degrees here now. So it's warmed up. Yeah. So and
How about the train ride?
and we did it. It was a 2.5-hour train ride to here. So yeah, so it was that was pretty Scott. Anyway, so it's yeah, it's 3 o'clock here. Yeah. So
I thought we sell tonight to Norway.
You guys got the picture?
What?
I just
Yeah.
got spoiled.
Wait, no,
Jeez.
Yeah, we
Is
get
everything going all right?
we get in Oslo
Oh, good.
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we get to Dover on Monday. Yeah, it's a long distance. It's a long haul to Oslo.
Yeah. And then to Dover is longer.
Well, smaller meetings, so to say, when they not assemble all of the 600, but just to special topics. So that's in this building here to the right. And actually the buildings here, they go between east and west. So this building goes also over the river Spree, and on the other side they're still not finished. The library for the parliament, they have a huge library with 1.2 million books. And then we have, at the moment in front of us, we will turn the bus here, so you will have this blue small building here, this building, that's the kindergarten for the parliament. There are also children in the parliament here, so they need to have their own. And over there we have this huge glass building. That's the new railway station. It's not finished yet. It will be finished in probably in 2 years. It should have been finished many years ago, but it's very complicated to build it. It's also quite large, and this building is also very large. So the Berliner call this building the Colosseum. Colosseum. So, and we have these nice green areas in front of the Reichstag, and to the right here is also a part of the park. Well, these nice green. So we have the Victory column in front of us, and then to the right you will have 3 men here. You have Roel, Moltke, and behind the trees to the right you can see also the Bismarck. From 1920, and these areas here before 1920 they didn't even belong to Berlin, although Berlin at that time was even more people living here than it is today. At that time in the 20s Berlin has had more than 4 million people living here. Today it's 3.5 million. I'll cook to you. So it's a house here in front of us. You see a KaDeWe. It says Kaufhaus des Westens, department stores of the West. Actually, it has nothing to do with West Berlin. But because it's an old department store, it's just that we are also geographical. We are westwards in Berlin. They are preparing for 100 years anniversary in KaDeWe. So this is the main shopping street in Berlin, and we will pass here very quickly, don't worry. This sculpture in the middle of the street, this silver colored, it's symbolizing Berlin, East and West Berlin, the two cities moving so into each other but not really reaching each other as the city was divided. I think they have to rewind it a bit here as the city comes together again. And then we have here this church, you've probably seen pictures of it, the Kaiser Emperor Wilhelm Memorial Church. And this church, the old part of it, the old tower, it was built at the end of the 20th century to remind of the Emperor William. It was destroyed 1943 during the World War, and then after the World War they built the new church on both sides of the old one. In the 20s, before the church was destroyed, of course, in the 20s, you probably know Marlene Dietrich, and she got married in this church in the 20s. I mean, it's like in Paris. And, well, this was at that time not a part of Berlin. It's I think, hard to imagine today that this was outside Berlin. But after the Second World War, this became the center of West Berlin, and so it was the city center of a 2 million city, and of course that's then became the main shopping street and also the main street if you go out in the evening to restaurants and bars and so on. Well, the traffic light doesn't work here, so there's a policeman and trying to regulate the traffic here. It isn't always very easy in Berlin to find a place to parking a car, and especially it's not so easy to find a place where you can park your car safe. But I'm very sure that the Cadillacs you will see here, they will be to the left in the middle of the street. They have a very secure parking lot. Houses for American families, for the soldiers. And this building over there, it said outpost on it. It was a cinema for the soldiers. And this building, that was a supermarket. And here, of course, it was just for the American soldiers. So, well, I don't know if you had limitations at school, but we could get to the product. Here, of course not, but they stand there. Okay, so let's see. infantry, Die Stäuben. He was fighting in the miles long, all through the western part. And the parts of the street, of course, are much older, but the whole way in this way here, it was made in the 30s, and it ends at a place, it's now called this place, Theodorhuis. So later they will use this for representation. And we have the palace here in front of us. And at this palace we also have a few very nice museums. For example, the museum, the Egyptian museum with Nefertiti. And then if
Those are awesome.
Yeah, they're all over, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the problem. This guy charges the young man, the guy that Jim had bought everything from, doesn't do those kind of repairs, so it's not this young man that he almost knows. And the guys in Puebla, he charged $125 to redo the whole engine class with the chain.
And the change. That's what I should have had done. I was.
Yeah. But,
Janet, you're eating over there.
so that's,
I couldn't believe it.
I bet you're just sick.
It was so depressing. Because I very rarely use anything. Just to make up for everything.
Never lost.
Oh,
Painful.
then I kept. You have to resolve yourself, though.
Oh, you have to. It's material. It's something.
That's the only way you can do it. Otherwise,
I have Jim's mom's John bracelet.
Huh?
And that's one of the true valuables that we hear about. But our friend suggested it. I said no way, and so we took a black dress, black pants, and took just I already did one, we sent that once. Look at this. But yeah, and it actually works, so we never have to worry about it, never have to get suitcases.
They teach with that's traveling on.
Yeah,
It is 2 cents a week. No matter where you go.
yeah,
And
Carry.
we're like
yeah.
all carry out.
Yeah.
All carry out.
Well, it sure made it easy, we didn't wait in airports, we didn't,
Oh, look at that. There's a ship there.
First time we went to Europe, we went to England, and Donna and her sister were traveling. Her sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and they're on the street.
Go
The
get,
two of them
go ahead and get up there.
each went out and bought the biggest suitcase
So
I've
get
ever
you good
seen.
time. Yes.
And I still have a visual of the poor guy hauling it up to the top of the castle. You know, the
no
little
elevators, no
tour.
spiral.
And they waited back there.
It is now 10 after 10 and we're on a Monday. We just returned from 2.5 hour train walk ride from Berlin and just had dinner. We depart tonight at midnight to travel to Oslo and arrive there after a day at sea. Now June 10th, and we'll be arriving on June 12th in Oslo, then returning on June 14th to Dover. We're looking at the customs house here, and that's the train station and the train we took to Berlin.